Mary Beth, how are you, Ben?
Doing great, thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I know we got to chat a little bit prior to starting our recording, and we were just talking about how much we all now have in common, right? I want to ask you a question because we've all mobilized at home. Is there anything that you think you're doing right now that's new that you think will stay in place when we go back to normal?
I definitely think we will be more comfortable with remote for sure than we ever were before. Before this, I'd say a good 60% of our workforce was capable of working remote and did work remote on a interim basis or intermittent basis. I would say now the entire management team has become much more comfortable with it. And so I think we'll see a lot more of it.
Now, what's your biggest challenge that you're facing right now as an executive leader?
How to get the message out. I am a walk around leader as much as I can be, even though we cover a 5-state footprint. Where my offices are, we probably have about 35%, 40% of our workforce is there. And I like to walk around and I like to talk to the people face to face. I like to hear what they're saying. And so I'm trying to have to be a little bit more creative on how to do that. And so just to hear what they're thinking and feeling, get the tone of the workforce and then get the message out.
Is there, I tell you, I'm feeling that because I'm a touchy-feely as well. I want to see my people and hug them. And I'm doing that every day, as you shared with me, you're doing with your leaders. Is there anything you're doing right now that you really want to share with people that's really working well for you?
I think it's interesting. I think it's forced us, the whole remote situation has forced us to have more intentional conversation. So as much as I just said, hey, I love to walk around, I love to hear, to, kind of more impromptu, I think we've been more productive in some regards because I now have an everyday leadership huddle every day, and we're hitting topics very quickly. We're making decisions quickly. And I think in a sense, we're executing a little bit more quickly on things. And I like that. So I've actually thought about how do I, without bogging people down once we get back to the new norm, continue some of that.
Sure. I feel the same thing, doing the leadership huddles and keeping really focused. That hyper focus and intentionality, I think, is making us all much more productive. But
I would agree.
Now that we're switching over, I'm going to say we're all starting to settle in. We're all going to be working from home for a while. We're all have our dogs barking. When you think about the industry at large, what are the big question marks that still are not answered for you that are impacting how you are actually processing and closing loans today?
Oof. I think honestly, there's been a lot of operational disruption for all of us. We're, concerned about, gaps in title insurance and are we covering everything at closing to make sure there isn't any. We're worried about today we're making quick decisions as an industry on tax transcripts. How quickly does that change when we get back to a new norm? We've seen, again, having gone through other periods with the industry that were truly economic crises, how our downstream investors reacted as we got farther away from the actual crises. I'm curious to see how these decisions we're making today to keep the industry moving forward, all good decisions, all sound, how they may evolve over the coming weeks and months as we get back to our new norms and we're dealing with the sort of aftermath of this situation.
Certainly. Well, I got to just say thank you for your few minutes today. I know I just interrupted your day and you were so kind to say, yeah, let's videotape. I think it's so important.
Even wearing a ponytail and a sweatshirt.
We're at least branding ourselves while we're at home, right?
I am. I got my little Synovus on. I'm Brandon.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, you know what? Let me just say thank you. We're all going through the same thing. I believe loan officers and managers who are in the field need to hear from executives like yourself who are having to manage so many different things, and for them to have an appreciation that there's just so many unknown factors, but that you guys are absolutely working as hard as you can to bring solutions to your team. So thanks for your time today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, you're awesome. You're awesome.